So Jenny and I just got back from a 4-day music festival where we were camping in tents the whole time, and we are exhausted. So we thought the perfect video for us to just kind of chill out with our animals and just kind of recover from all that would be a Q&A video so that we can answer any questions that you guys might have.
Yeah, so we went on Patreon and we went on Facebook and we asked you guys to give us your burning questions. What do you want to know? So let's go ahead and start with Patreon and see what our questions are.
The first question is from Blue Mountain Bigfoot Research, and they asked, have you ever had any trouble flying your drone in state parks or Forest Service land? So what we've noticed is that just about every state park we've been to does not allow drone flying at all, right? Has there been a single one?
I think that I don't remember, there might have been one, but the majority of them say no, but they each have their own rules, so you have to ask. Yeah,
always ask. It's on a state-by-state basis. But as far as Forest Service land goes, as long as it's not a wilderness area, it's our understanding that you can fly your drone there. Any just regular national forest land, we've had no troubles flying our drone. You're allowed to fly there, but if it is a wilderness area, typically you're not. But again, always check. You can talk to the ranger station, the local ranger station, or sometimes you can go online and find out. But yeah, we've had no troubles.
No troubles. Our next question is from Kathie S, and she asks, can you explain how you transfer your various film segments from your different devices to your laptop and then make sense out of what you captured? Yes, actually, so we have so many clips every time we film. I'm not even kidding. There have got to be like 100 clips.
Oh, it's between 100 and 200 for every typical video we do.
So many clips. So what we do is we create a folder ahead of time before we start transferring, and then we use our little micro SD card and we plug it directly into our laptop. If you don't have a micro USB port on your laptop, you can get like a little extra dock that you can plug it into that plugs into a regular USB little plug. You can transfer them over. So what we do is we typically copy them from the original source into the folder we've created, and the folder is titled with the year, month, and then date, and then whatever we kind of like a small description of what we did that day. And then it's all of the video clips, and you can organize those in the folder based on either order of time frame that it was taken or order of type of video clip.
We don't rename the files.
Yeah, we don't rename the files.
The camera numbers them in sequential order itself, so we just leave that number in there. And you're definitely gonna want to come up with whatever file scheme makes sense for you, whatever structure, so that you can just keep track of all of that. But there is a ton of files. And it takes forever to transfer them over from our SD card to the computer.
Like multiple hours.
Yeah, and something we do that we think is really important is we back up all of our files onto a external hard drive. Oh, thank you. An external hard drive. Yeah, just so that those files are in two places, just in case the laptop gets damaged or its hard drive or solid state drive gets corrupted. We've got all that backed up. But I mean, really, when it comes to like file structure and all that, you're just going to need to come up with something that makes sense for you. Believe it or not, Jenny has a different file structure than I do on her laptop for her site reviews. So, and it's just whatever works for you. I don't know. We don't really have a whole lot of wisdom there to share because we just kind of go with it.
Yeah, we just create folders and it works for us. But for the external hard drive, one thing that we do is our laptops don't have enough space for all of our videos that we've ever taken. So we will transfer over all of those to the external hard drive, which has a ton of storage space too.
Our next question comes from Thomas E, and he asks, the ideal solar setup for a 33-foot camper running AC most of the time is about how big? And Thomas, I actually have bad news for you because RV air conditioners require so much power to run them that operating them off of solar for the majority of a day is kind of unrealistic. The amount of money that you're going to put into a solar system that big, and not just that, but a lithium battery bank large enough to run your solar setup or your air conditioner for 6 or 8 hours a day is just going to cost so much money that it's not really worth it. You're better off just running your AC off of a generator or shore power, paying for electrical hookups at RV parks. You're gonna need thousands of watts of solar panels and just a ridiculous number of lithium batteries. We have 400 amp hours, and that will only power our air conditioner for
2 hours?
an hour maybe.
Yeah,
because the problem is when you get up to those really high amperage draws, like our air conditioner when it runs draws about 120 amps from a 12 volt source, which is our batteries. That is such a high amperage draw that it's going to drain our batteries down super fast. And yeah, it's just not really, what's the word, practical?
Practical.
Yeah, it's not really practical to run an air conditioner off of solar unless your setup is just incredibly large. And I mean, we paid $8,000 for our solar panels and our batteries. Well, our entire solar setup cost about $8,000, and we would probably need a solar setup that was at least 5 times as big. So we're talking $40,000. It's just, I hate to say it because I'm such an advocate for solar, but when it comes to running the air conditioner, it's not practical.
No.
You're much better off moving with the temperature. If it gets hot where you're at, go somewhere cooler. Go to higher elevation, go north, and yeah.
If you can't move, then run your generator turn your AC
Get a
on.
nice, efficient inverter generator, like a 2,000 or 2,200 watt with a micro air easy start. It's a lot better. You're gonna save money in the long run.
For sure. And then also, if you're still wanting like better, more exact numbers, David has made 2 videos that I think would be super helpful to you. The first one is how to size your RV solar, and you can size your RV solar so that you know how much you need for a typical day, and then go ahead and throw in your AC to see how much more you might need, and trust me, it's going to be a lot. And then he also made a video on how to run your air conditioner off of your solar, and the conclusion in that video is basically it's going to be too expensive and it's going to take up too much space, so it's really not worth it. Just get a generator. But
yeah, and I'll throw links to those 2 videos in the description below so you can check them out.
Yeah, but those will be very helpful for you.
Yeah. And that's all the questions from Patreon. So now we're moving to our questions from Facebook, and boy, did we get a lot. So thank you. Yeah, we got a lot. Thank you. All right, we're gonna try and get through as many of them as possible.
As fast as possible. This is gonna be like
because we've got a lot. All right, so Jordan L asks, when is David's beard going to be reintroduced into the wild? Never. Taylor S says, more importantly, when do the animals get their own channel? I would watch the crap out of that. They will get their own channel as soon as either Sweetie or Alice learns how to operate a camera and edit video.
Oh yeah, if they could do all the editing,
Yep.
yeah, we'll do it. Yep, for sure. All right, next question is from Christine P, and she says, what are your plans for Thanksgiving and Christmas this year? That is an excellent question. So for Thanksgiving this year, I don't think we're going to be back in Fort Wayne in time.
Yeah.
So we're going to end up celebrating Thanksgiving alone this year, just like we did our first year on the road. But Christmas, we're going to be in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And I don't
spot.
Yeah, you did. I don't know if it's going to be before Christmas or after Christmas, but we're having a meetup during that time as well in Fort Wayne, Indiana. But that's where we're going to be for a couple weeks visiting family. Next question is from Randolph B, and he says, are there plans at some point to get a different RV? That is a very good question as well. Yes, we do have plans eventually.
We do? This is news to
Eventually.
me. Oh, you mean, okay. Yeah, all right.
This RV is not going to last us forever, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Not only that, but, you know, our needs may change in the future. Who knows if we decide to have kids a few years down the road, and if so, we're going to end up upgrading or settling down. Who knows? Those plans are way up in the air, but my rough answer is yes, eventually.
Yeah, eventually, because that won't last forever.
That won't last forever. And also, even if we don't have kids and we do decide to settle down, we'll probably trade that in for like a Class B, something a little more maneuverable, stuff like that.
I mean, we're looking for that thing to last us the next 5 years at least, though. Our next one is from Thomas W, who asks, so with your new signal booster installed, what signal strength are you now open to accept when picking campsites? That must be so awesome for you to have better internet now. So we don't really know yet because we just installed it and we're still hanging out at my brother's house in Seattle, Washington. So we're yet to use the signal booster, like, you know.
Out in the woods
Exactly. we're from what we're seeing right here in this spot, signal strength is actually really weak.
It is.
And it boosts it up to a very strong signal strength. So we're thinking as long as we have some signal at a campsite, as long as it's not just complete dead zone, then we are going to be able to have usable signal. So we're pretty
excited,
optimistic.
yeah.
We're really optimistic. And then our next one is from Tasha M, who asks, how do you manage your water? Where do you find fresh water to fill? Where do you dump your gray water for when you boondock? So how do we manage our water? We really don't. We just kind of use our water as much as we need to. Like, we're not just like running sinks willy-nilly, but like if we need to use water, we just use it. Because instead of like trying to conserve water as hard as possible, we just carry more with us.
Yeah, we have 108 gallons?
118.
18?
Yeah, we have
more than I thought.
Our trailer's freshwater tank is 54 gallons, and we carry another 64 in the bed of our truck. So we just kept adding water to the bed of our truck.
Until it lasts us 2 weeks.
Exactly.
But one thing I can say that we do is, like, for laundry, we do that outside. We used to do it inside in the bathtub, and that would fill up our gray water so
yeah,
fast.
Exactly.
So we do that outside. Sometimes we wash our hair outside. Sometimes we cook outside. Just certain things, depending on what we want to do.
Yeah, because gray water space is more of an issue.
On that.
Yeah, we're more limited on gray water space. We have 74 gallons of gray water tank storage than we are fresh water. But we fill our fresh water anywhere we can. Truck stops, RV parks, state parks.
Sometimes there are dump stations.
National parks, dump stations that have water. Yeah. And where do you dump your gray water?
Same places.
Yeah, same exact places. We try to dump and fill our water at the same time.
All right, our next question is from Karen A, and she says, how do you control pet hair? That is an excellent question. It's really hard.
Yeah, especially right now, Sweetie's blowing her coat.
So are both of the rabbits.
Yeah, it is insane. The rabbits have so much hair.
It is
and
awful.
And most people don't know this, but Rottweilers have a double coat. So they just have so much hair, and they shed so much.
They really do. But what we do is David sweeps 2 to 10 times a day.
Not that often.
Not that often, but 2 to 3 times a day, depending on just how bad the pets are molting. I clean the rabbit's cage twice a day to put all their hair in their potty box to keep it from like flying around. We have we have a little vacuum cleaner, and we use that on our rug. And then we wash our sheets and our big blankets that really collect pet hair at least once a month, and that really helps cut down.
We have to cover our bed.
We do.
In like a cover blanket. We call it the dog blanket.
Yep.
And it just covers the bed so that Sweetie can hop up and down and lay on the bed as much as she wants. And then at night we take it off, and so all that pet hair gets caught by that dog blanket. And it kind of saves our bed from just getting, from just not only like smelling like dog, but just being covered in pet hair. And that actually works really well for us.
Yes, it does. Next question from Mindy M. She asks, how do you keep your items in your refrigerator cold while traveling? So that's a really good question as well. If we're traveling less than 4 hours, or, up to 4 hours during the day, we will turn our refrigerator off while traveling. Now, if we're going to be traveling longer than that, we will typically leave it off for a couple hours, the first couple hours, and then turn it back on for the rest of the trip. The reason being is because our refrigerator actually holds the coldness in it relatively well.
Yeah.
Even after 4 hours, it doesn't feel like it's changed at all, 4 hours of being completely off.
Yeah.
So that's why we do it that way. We've heard mixed reviews on whether or not it's safe or unsafe to travel down the road with your propane on. So I can't really recommend for you guys to do anything. That's just what we do, and we're comfortable doing that.
Yeah, and we try to keep our trips under 4 hours anyway, so it works out.
Yeah.
Glenn D's got a good one. He says, you say you wanted to get away from the 8 to 4 working life and go out and see the country, but aren't you still working crazy hours? Just doing it in a camper instead of an office building? Are you really free? And he makes a good point, because we are still working a lot. We look at Fate Unbound as our business. It is literally
job.
Yeah, we are literally sole proprietors, and this is the business that we run. And yeah, we are working more hours than I think we thought we would when
we're working way more than we thought we were going to. Yeah.
But the difference is that it's ours. We own it. We have full control over it. So it really doesn't have the same feel to it as an office job does, even though we're kind of working in our own home office. But when you are at home with these guys and her, and you get to look out your window, at your desk, and you're in the middle of the national forest or some beautiful spot, it just doesn't have that like office type job feel, and it's while it's still a job and it feels like a job at sometimes, absolutely, especially while editing, it's totally worth it. It's very different, and I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, having the freedom to sleep in when you want to sleep in,
we make our own schedule. So yeah. Exactly. Like we'll sleep in, but that just means we have to work later. Like we work into the night then, but that's fine because that's what we choose to do.
Yeah. Or if we want to be done early, we just know that we have to get up early the next day.
Yeah.
Or like if we want to go out for a walk, or we just want to go outside and enjoy our time, or whatever. It's really nice having the flexibility to decide what you want to do.
Exactly. So are we
totally
free?
Worth it.
I mean, we're certainly not retired.
Yeah, not retired.
I would absolutely say that we are free. Yeah.
For sure.
Bruce G asks, when are you planning a Southwest Florida trip? Sorry, Bruce. Probably not going to make it down to Florida for quite a while.
Yes, we have told Thomas and Stacy with I'm Not Last RVing, they're awesome people, by the way, if you don't already follow them, and we've told them that we will explore that area eventually with them. So it's going to happen someday. But,
maybe.
but I don't know when. Not this year and not next year. That's all I've got so far.
Yeah, we're going to be out west for quite a while.
Yeah. Our next question is from Cindy W, and she says, do you run into poison ivy / poison oak on your hikes, and are signs posted for that along the trails? That is a very good question. We have been on, I think, only one trail where it warned that there was a lot of poison oak, and that was in Illinois. It was an interpretive trail. I don't remember exactly where it was.
Actually, I know exactly what you're talking about, and it didn't warn us about the poison oak. It was just one of the little. It was just showing.
One of the little signs. It was one of the little plaques.
Yeah, it was just It was a trail that just showed the various plants and explained what their name was and what they are and how the natives use them, et cetera, et cetera. And one of them happened to be poison oak. Mm-hmm. But I don't remember any trail ever that we've been on that says this is poison ivy. Watch out for it, or It's just kind of a hike at your own risk sort of thing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There have been times when, this is before we filmed and before we shared our travels with you guys, we were in North Carolina, and it was the first time that I had ever learned that there was something called poison sumac, which is very, very similar, and you break out in a very similar way to poison ivy and poison oak. But I learned that I was ridiculously allergic to that, even though I didn't realize that we were surrounded by it, because even now, even being from Indiana, where we have a ton of poison ivy and poison oak, I don't know what that looks like. No matter how many times I've been shown pictures of it, I don't know what it looks like. So,
and I think a lot of people are going to hate me when I say that I don't think I'm allergic to any of them.
Yeah,
I have no allergies, and one time I was laying in poison ivy while my friends and I were paintballing in the woods when I was 16. And I laid down, just for cover. And when I stood up, I looked down and I was like, "Oh no!" Just laying in it. I thought I was just gonna get it all over me. Never happened. I've never had poison ivy, oak, or sumac breakouts in my entire life.
Yeah, I've only ever broken out from poison sumac. I know that I'm only barely allergic to poison ivy. I don't break out really bad from that. Anyway.
Next question.
Yeah, next question. All right, our next question is from Alice S, and she says, how nervous were you when you first started out? Because you seem to have made full-time RVing such a good fit. We were pretty nervous, to be completely honest. We had completely changed our lifestyle. We had sold our house, our cars, sold everything we owned except what would fit in the RV and what we couldn't part with yet. And we left our family behind. And we decided we wanted to see the country. And we knew that it was a good choice for us at the time because we kept telling each other, especially when we started getting nervous, our response to each other was, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Why not try it?
It's this is the perfect time in our lives to do it. There will be no better time.
Worst case scenario, we hate it and we
just go back home.
We go back.
Get jobs, we get a house again, and
Yeah, it was going to be no big deal if we ended up hating it, but we have thoroughly grown to love this lifestyle 100%. So no regrets.
And even in the beginning, it was we were nervous, but it was a nervous confidence.
It was a nervous excitement.
And I don't know. I don't know if I was being naive or I don't know, overconfident or full of ourselves or something. But I just knew we would figure out a way to make it work, whether it was YouTube or work camping or working remotely. We'd figure out something somehow. And we did, and we love it.
We love every minute of it. It's fantastic.
Well, not every minute.
Okay, most minutes of it. Sometimes we're tired. Anyway, the very next question is from Effie P, and she says, when are tiny humans coming into your world? Will you upgrade or make room?
Effie.
Yeah. That's a very good question, Effie. Yes, tiny humans, we've talked about it over, the last 11 years together.
Jenny likes to bring it up from time to time.
Yeah, I like to talk about it. I think that David and I are both emotionally prepared for kids. I don't think that we are fully ready to decide right now, yes, we want kids.
But if we were to start a family, if it were to happen, we would be all for it.
We would be all for it, and yes, we'd probably keep our current rig for the first couple months.
Yeah.
And then upgrade. We would still travel for sure. We would homeschool, all that good stuff. But we wanted to homeschool before we even decided to hit the road. So that's not something that's a new prospect for us. But if we have kids, it's probably not going to be in the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Maybe sometime after that. But
and
for
then
right
in
now,
3 years, we're going to say, maybe 3 years.
Maybe 3 years.
That's basically what we've been doing.
All I know is one of my best friends waited till she was 36 to have her first child, and so...
And everything's great.
And everything's great, so the way I see it, I have another 8 years before I really have to buckle down and decide, so...
The next question is from Rachel W, who asks, how do you guys feel about fifth wheel trailers versus tow behind trailers? So I think what she means by tow behind trailers, like a bumper pole travel trailer.
Like what we have,
yeah. Fifth wheels are great because you get more turning radius. You can turn tighter with them than you can with a bumper pole. And you also have more living space, more space period, per like total rig length than you would with a bumper pole. And we were actually thinking of we were very close to getting a fifth wheel.
We had one picked out and everything.
Yeah. But they tend to be more expensive than a bumper pole and then a travel trailer, which is one of the main reasons we went with a travel trailer, was just to save as much money as we could.
But now that we have a travel trailer, it's one of those things where we really appreciate the storage in the bed of the truck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. That's a really good point. You lose your truck bed storage, where we have just a ton.
So much.
Yeah, with that, a long bed truck and the camper shell, we just have, it's like a garage. Some people call it their garage. So yeah, there are definitely pros and cons to getting a fifth wheel versus a bumper pole trailer.
I don't know if we would ever go with a fifth wheel. I don't think that we really have a need for it because we don't need more room.
Yeah, we personally really like our travel trailer. Our rig setup we really like, but it's going to be totally different for everyone and what they need out of their rig. What? Am I not petting you enough? I've been petting you literally this whole time.
Pet her more. It has to be. You have to have one hand on her at all time.
Constant pet. Yeah. What was I thinking?
Hi.
Anna T asks, I love how you guys mostly boondock and the places that you go. I'm just wondering, how is your trailer holding up on all of these backroad excursions? What is your major maintenance? So thankfully, our trailer's been holding up pretty well.
We've had some wall seams that have like popped out.
Our cabinets have separated a little bit.
Yeah,
because
we've had to fix those.
Yeah, the walls and the cabinetry and everything, unfortunately, is just held together with staples and glue. So vibration from going on all those back roads and just the bumping and the trailer like twisting and stuff, just going all over uneven land, has made some walls start to pop out, staples pop out from cabinetry and walls. But you just push it back in and staple it back in. Yeah, we have a air compressor and a staple gun with us, so that's just what we do when something like that happens. So it's no big deal. We've got some seal seams cracking, like up on the roof, just where there's sealant been put down. There's cracks going on there. And same thing, you just get up with a caulk gun and some sealant and you just go back over it. So we've had no major things go wrong because of it. We've just minor things like that.
We've accidentally damaged a couple of our stabilizer jacks.
That's true.
But we've just
from dragging
them on stuff like uneven ground.
Yep.
That we thought we could clear, but we couldn't.
But we just bent them back.
Yeah,
and they still work fine.
If for some reason we were to break one off, we've already looked it up and they're only like 30 or 35 bucks.
Yeah, so nothing major has gone wrong. It's held up really well, thankfully.
Yeah, we're really happy with it. The next question is from Thomas W, and he asks, trying to understand BLM camping rules. Assuming your GPS is working and you know that you're on BLM land, is there anything more you need to do once you claim a spot? Do you need to let someone know you're there? That is a great question. Normally, no. You don't have to let anybody know that you're there. the BLM Rangers will come around as needed. They'll come around and they'll take down your trailer description, your truck description, and your license plate numbers, and then they'll mark what date they gathered your information, and then for 14 days from that date, you have to have left that spot. Now, there are lots of rules on BLM land and National Forest land where, like, if you leave a spot, you can't stay in that part of the BLM land or National Forest. You have to move somewhere else. Or, like, you can't even come back for 30 days.
And that'll be,
like that.
but that'll be different from BLM
yeah.
area to BLM area. So you'll just have to check because it
You'll
might
just
be
have to
different.
check.
And also the whole ranger stopping by thing. We've actually only seen 2 BLM Rangers.
One was in Tucson, and I don't remember where the
Yeah,
other one was.
so, and we've stayed on a lot of BLM, so they don't come around very often. That's actually kind of rare. But we've seen a lot of National Forest Rangers. That's pretty common for a forest ranger to come along.
Yeah, but so in regards to checking in with somebody, there are a lot of, if you have to check in with somebody, you'll know. There's going to be a sign posted when you enter the BLM land where if you're going to be camping, call this number, so that you can, say that you've arrived or something. I haven't actually seen that anywhere, but if you have to check in, that's what I would assume you would see.
Yeah, so basically drive on in, pick a spot, there you go. You're good for 14 days.
Yep. Kelsey R. asked quite a few questions. I'm going to try and answer them all really fast. She asks, where's the litter box? So the cat's litter box is on the floor next to my side of the bed, and it has a little gate in front of it so the dog can't stick her face in there and eat it, which is gross. You're gross.
She's gross.
The rabbit's litter box is inside their cage, which is at the foot of the bed. On long drives, how often do you stop for the kids? 6+ hours. We stop about every 3 hours.
Yeah, that's probably right.
For us and for the animals. We'll give them water, we'll take them to use the bathroom, we'll get ourselves some food, stuff like that. How often do you get on each other's nerves since you are together 24/7? So I don't know if everybody, I know for a fact not everybody is like this, but David and I get along really, really well. We argue like big fights, maybe twice a year at most.
Yeah, probably twice a year, big fight.
Yeah, but we've gotten really good over these 11 years of our relationship in telling each other when we're grumpy.
Yeah.
All we have to do is even if I don't look grumpy or I don't sound grumpy, all I have to do is say, "Hey David, I'm grumpy today," and he'll just be like,
yeah, like if I'm like nagging her or like bickering with her about something and she's just like, "I'm grumpy," I'll just be like, "All right, drop it. Just drop it.
We can talk about stuff later.
We'll talk about it later." Yep.
Yeah.
And I do the same.
Yeah.
And it works surprisingly well.
That's a B. Don't let her get that.
Oh, yeah. Let's not chase that bug.
Let's not. Yeah, not that one. Let me see. Was there another one? Yes. How do you deal with all the paper clutter going from S&B to TNT?
Sticks and bricks to something, probably on the road.
Oh, okay.
Paper clutter, we don't
have paper clutter.
We only keep the most important documents.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's not something that's like mandatory that I have this on hand, it gets thrown away. You know,
it gets thrown away. Or if it's something that we have to keep for a couple years, whenever we go and visit David's dad, he has a massive filing cabinet, and we have our own file in there.
So like tax documents go in that filing cabinet in my parents' house. Mm-hmm. But like, everything else, we just don't keep a lot of the stuff that we used to because we realized, we don't have to keep this because all that stuff is electronic nowadays, or most of it is. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we really don't have very much paper clutter at all.
Yeah, and then the last question she asked is, how do we deal with receipts? So David is in charge of tracking all of our expenses. Yep. So he'll save up the receipts until he has a nice, decent stack, and he has a little box that they all go in. And then every couple of months, he'll go in and he'll put all those expenses into a spreadsheet, and then he throws them away as he does that.
No. If it's a business expense,
then
we have to save that receipt for 7 years. And again, that's tax documents. That goes when we visit my parents.
It goes in the filing cabinet.
Yep. Karen K asks, since you frequent BLM land, which are on dirt roads most of the time, do you find it a problem keeping the outside of your camper and solar panels clean? What do you do to keep it under control? Well, Karen, Nothing. We actually don't care about the cleanliness of the outside of our camper because it is just too hard. We're just going to be dragging it down another dirt road in a couple days. So keeping the outside of the camper, clean is a losing battle, and we just don't bother. Same with our truck.
If it gets really bad, we'll clean them.
Yeah, well, like bugs. Like if the bug guts on the front of the trailer start to get really bad, then we'll wash it. But we only wash the trailer probably once or twice a year.
The truck gets maybe 4 baths a year.
Yeah, I care even less about the truck than the trailer because the truck really is literally going to get driven down a dirt road the next day.
Yeah.
So it's mostly we care about the windows so that we can see out of them. If the windows start to get dirty, we clean the windows just so it doesn't obstruct our view. But yeah, that side of the camper, the solar.
We don't worry about it.
Yeah, we take a very practical approach to that. And the solar panels. You'll actually probably be pretty surprised how dirty solar panels can get before it negatively affects their power output. And I didn't realize that until I started doing some testing. And we only clean the solar panels about every 2 or 4 weeks, depending on how dirty they are. Basically, if we move from a new location, once we get there, I'll get up on the roof and clean the solar panels, and then that's it. So yeah.
Yeah, and while he's up there, he checks the roof for,
I just
for
look
problems.
Around. Exactly. I look around on the rubber roof, make sure there are no damaged seals or rips in the roof, stuff like that. Autumn M asks, is there a reason you sometimes have your dog on a leash and other times not, even in national forests? That's a really good question. We typically leave Sweetie on a leash. What determines whether to have her on leash or off leash is if there are a lot of people in the area, because she wants to meet everyone, and so she'll just go right up to a person. And
that can be really intimidating because she is a Rottweiler. Yeah,
some people don't want a large dog just approaching them, whether they're friendly or not. So we'll keep her on a leash if there's people around. If the trail is like completely devoid of people, we just take her off leash because she's really, really good at following the trail. And she'll go up ahead of us quite a bit, but not too far. She'll only go like 10 or 15 yards ahead of us, and then she'll like look back and make sure we're still coming. It's super cute.
Yeah, it's really adorable.
That's basically the only time we have her on a leash is if there are people around, just so we're not bugging them. And, if they want to come meet her, they'll let us know, and they can pet her all they want. But, yeah.
Yep, and then obviously in national parks, because she's part of the Park Ranger program, if the national park has that program, she has to stay on leash at all times.
Well, yeah, of course. If she has to be on the leash, then we'll keep her on the leash. But.
Yeah, and same with, there are certain national forests like Mount Hood National Forest. On that hike we did, I think it was to a waterfall. They had signs that required your pet to stay on leash.
Well, yeah, so there were a ton of people on that hike, so yeah that's why.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and end this video here. I'm sure that it's already drug on for quite a long time. I'm very sorry that we haven't gotten to everybody's questions. We got way more than we expected.
There were so many on Facebook, but thank you guys for asking all those questions. We really appreciate it. Thank you to our patrons for asking questions.
Yeah, this is another reminder, by the way, that we are having a meetup on August 24th this year, 2019, from 2 to 4, somewhere in the Seattle-ish area. We have to talk to friends and family to see what park, because I think we're going to have it at the park.
Probably.
They recommend that has a lot of parking. If you guys know of any parks, just, let us know in the comments below. We'll look them up, all that good stuff. But yes, August 24th, 2 to 4 p.m. this year, 2019, here near Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we hope to see some of you guys then. Again, thanks for your questions and have a great day.
Yeah, we'll catch you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.